Hey there, YouTubers. All right, quick BIOS overview. I just got this within the last week. Asrock B560m HDV. We've got a 10th gen Intel CPU in here. So I'm probably going to do two of these. One with the 10th gen and one with 11th gen because it'll probably actually look different. Maybe not, right? Actually, I know it will look different because I have an EVO 980 Pro I will plug into this. But this is easy mode, what you're seeing here. So let's just go over it. Up in the upper left, you see the model. This is the BIOS version, okay? I don't believe there's an update out there yet, but I will eventually check, and we'll do a BIOS update video. Here's my processor, i5-10600KF. Probably the best CPU for the money. Processor speed. Total memory 16 gigs, which you can see here. Now, one of the things about this motherboard is for a 560, previously the 460, the 360 did not allow overclocking RAM, okay? So what you see here is G.Skill 8 gig at 3600 megahertz. We've got the XMP profile here. All right, so I'm going to click through these just so you can see it. Auto, profile 1, okay? Down here is your storage drives. And as I've discussed in quite a few videos, this slot here for the M.2, this is meant for hyperdrive or Gen 4. With the 10th gen, it doesn't work, okay? And with one of these motherboards, I believe it's this one, if you put a drive in there, it wouldn't even boot up. Okay, most of the time, like for the Z590 I have, it will just ignore it being there and still boot up. But in this case, it had some issues, so just keep that in mind. Of course, whenever you're building a computer for the first time, it's always better to, get it to boot the BIOS and then put the drives in. All right, so you see here, this M.2 is added so that's a Gen 3 there, and the slot is a Gen 3. Over here, we see CPU fan status. I've got a Noctua 140 millimeter CPU cooler on here. Fan speed. And this is a quick way to flash your BIOS in here. Okay, we'll show that in a video eventually. Boot priority. All right, so that's going to do it pretty much for the easy mode. Now we're going to go to advanced mode. So another summary, okay? OC tweaker. Now, even though I have a unlocked CPU in this computer, it is definitely locked. All right, so we're not going to be able to do too much to it. Here's some of the settings under this aspect of OC tweaker. RAM. We go in here. You can see XMP, ability to change that. This is another place here. If I wanted to go in and change my RAM speed, I would do that. So let's say, you're having some issues at 3600. Maybe you need to cut back a little bit. Drop it down to 3400, 3200, whatever. You could do that right there. Let's say also that you wanted to push this a little harder. Whether this will handle it or not is another story, but you might be able to pump it up to 3700 or 3733. I'm trying to remember what the next one is. You could do that here. And then all the stuff for timings down here. Voltage configuration, in case you want to mess with this stuff. I do not believe you'll see anything in here for adjusting power limits, okay? Because when I'm in XTU tuning utility, Intel's XTU tuning utility, there's no control for power limits. So this motherboard does not support that. Advanced CPU configuration. I'll just click on this. This is probably one of those spots that, let's see, nope. Thermal throttling. I figured we would pass. Here's where hyper-threading is. I don't know if I missed it, but Turbo Boost should have been in here. Chipset configuration. So we'll just go through these menus. This is what you see here. You can see primary graphics adapter. Some of the settings that you can adjust in here if you want to. And the quick BIOS overview, I don't really tell you about every little detail of these, right? We're just going through here so you can see what's on the menu in case there's something you're looking for. This screen to me has always seemed worthless. I think all the motherboard manufacturers have something like that. Doesn't really help you with anything. I'm going to skip that one. So this guy here could be important, right? USB ports enabled. I click on this. If I wanted to do that, which I do not want to mess with that. So ability to disable the USB ports on here. And there are 6 USB ports on this motherboard. Trusted computing. All right, so that's that section. Tools. We're not going to mess with this. I definitely don't want to accidentally erase my SSD. Another place to do instant flash. And this mentions internet flash. So there may be multiple ways to flash the BIOS on this. We'll check that out in the future. NVMe sanitation tool in here. Hardware monitor. So this is a good place to go to see how stuff is doing. I'm actually kind of surprised that the CPU is not cooler with this big old cooler on it, but there's some of your information. You see all the different voltages. Security. I want to add a supervisor password. Another place to do boot priority. Fast boot. You want to have the boot beep. Compatibility support module. And that's going to do it, folks. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.